Well, welcome everybody. We have somebody that everybody might know best as our master TV anchor here in Rochester, and he is also an author. And his name is Don Alhart. Everybody knows Don, and he wrote this wonderful book, Sibley's Christmas Adventure. And I have a signed copy. This is rare. These they're a little hard to get, but I have a signed copy here, and you're going to be seeing a rendition of this very soon on this YouTube. And I'm just going to turn it over to Don and have Don explain the book and why he did it and what you're going to see.
Yeah, I had always had written many children's stories. A lot of them I wrote to deliver in church, and they were called Little Parables for Little People. And I wrote children's stories over the years, and really wanted to write one that could be an actual book that children could hold in their hands and enjoy. And to do that, I drew upon my own childhood memories of Sibley's department store downtown, when we would go to the fourth floor every Christmas season, walk through the magic corridor, and look at all of the creations that they had done, pane by pane, in display of Santa's workshop and the elves and the reindeer. And the Toyland itself, where Joe Benet would play the kazoo every Christmas and just bring out that spirit. So I said, how can I get this story to come to life? And I thought about a little mouse that maybe lived in Sibley's and would crawl under Santa's chair and listen to the children as they recited their list of toys they wanted for Christmas every year. So I built the story around Sibley, and Sibley's adventure really entails not only those fun moments, but the day he learned that Sibley's department store was going to be closing, and how devastating is one. And that's where the journey picks up and carries on in the book. Uh, I was very blessed to have Joe LaMonaco put some music and sound effects to me reading the story. To Brian Swarta at Channel 13 for taking that book and making the pages turn so that people can hopefully really enjoy and get the feel as if they're sitting right next to me when they hear the story of Sibley's Christmas Adventure.
Well, Don, it's a wonderful book. It's a wonderful lesson for children too.
Mhm.
And I tell you, I think everybody who has one enjoys it. It's going to be passed on from generation to generation. And God bless you for what you do. And God bless you for what you do for the Rochester Rotary Sunshine Camp too, Don.
Yeah, and that's why this is such a great event. To be able to benefit not only the Arc of Monroe, the Arc Foundation benefits from all the proceeds of the books and the Little Mouse, but we have had many events where people can not only support the Arc, but they're also supporting Rochester Rotary and the Sunshine Camp as well when they do it. So to bring things together, to experience that synergy really at the holiday time is the most fun of all.
Well, God bless you for what you do. And now let's take a look at your rendition of the book.
Ever since he could remember, Christmas was his favorite time of the year. After all, that's when he got to see Santa Claus himself and listen as all the boys and girls sat on his lap with their long list to tell him what they wanted for Christmas. And best of all, it was all happening in his home, the fourth floor of the big Sibley's department store. The little mouse lived in the wall right behind Santa's big chair. And just like the store, his name was Sibley. Sibley lived there all year long, but he was most excited every winter when the workmen would set up the giant holiday display. It was called the Magic Corridor, and the boys and girls would walk through a beautiful winter wonderland, complete with a sleigh, reindeer, and even a Santa's workshop. Sibley loved to watch the mechanical elves as they made imaginary presents to deliver to children all over the world. Someday, thought Sibley, he might even get to the real North Pole to meet those elves in person. For now, though, Sibley was content to see the children come to the toy department every year and watch their starry-eyed faces all aglow with the joy of visiting Santa's magic corridor. Sometimes, as quiet as the mouse he was, Sibley would scamper out of his little hole to sit under Santa's chair as the boys and girls recited their Christmas lists. In the background, he could hear Mr. Joe Benet, playing along with Gene Autry's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on a kazoo. Joe was there every year, and moms and dads would buy kazoos for their children so they could sing and play along too. One day, though, after a long winter's nap, Sibley was awakened to some loud noises. Sibley knew that work crews carefully put the magic corridor in storage every year, but something was different this year. He overheard one workman say, "You know, I'm going to miss setting this up next year. It always gets me in the holiday spirit. I can't believe this wonderful old department store is finally closing." "Oh no," said Sibley. "I can't believe what I'm hearing." But sure enough, Sibley did hear those workmen. "Everything's got to go," they said. "Say goodbye to the magic corridor." Oh, Sibley was so sad he started to cry. All the toys would be gone, and the make-believe toy workshop would be torn down, and even Santa's big chair. And oh no, worst of all, Santa and all of the boys and girls would be gone too. "Oh, woe is me," said Sibley. "What am I going to do?" That night, Sibley couldn't sleep. He just tossed and turned in his little bed behind the little hole in the wall, right next to where Santa's chair used to be. Finally, Sibley decided to go for a walk. Sometimes he would jump on the big brass escalators and jump off just as the moving step would disappear. Sometimes he would go all the way to the main floor just to see the famous clock under which shoppers would meet. Tonight, though, the escalators were still, so Sibley just slid down the long, rubbery banisters. Pretty soon, he was on the second floor where work crews had been clearing out all of the racks of clothing, and that's when he spotted it. All the way at the front of the store, a giant walkway. Sibley crept slowly toward the giant glass-lined tunnel and began to cross it. If he looked down, he could see all the cars and buses on the snow-filled Main Street. Sibley just kept on going. Creep mouse, until he was all the way to the other side. Just as he was safely to the other side, he was startled by a small voice saying, "Hello." "Wow, you scared me," said Sibley. "Who are you and what are you doing here?" "My name is McCurdy," the little mouse replied, "and you must be Sibley. I heard you might be coming, and I'm here to help you on your journey. Just follow me." So Sibley followed McCurdy through another big department store, through the ladies' shoes, past a little tea room, and finally to a giant shopping mall. Sibley looked up to see shiny silver cars hanging from a rail that ran all the way around the mall. "What's that?" he asked. "Oh," said McCurdy, "that's the Midtown monorail. You'll have to jump on board for the rest of your journey." "But where am I going?" said Sibley. "I can't tell you," said McCurdy, "except to say it will be a magical trip to a very special place." And so Sibley crawled up into the very last car on the monorail, and as soon as he did, the lights came on, and the silver car began to move so fast that Sibley bumped his head on the seat. Sibley hung on for dear life as the monorail car picked up speed and then broke free from the rail and started climbing toward the ceiling, up and away as the magic monorail soared through the air, crashed through the window, and jetted into the sky. Sibley looked down on the city below as it got smaller and smaller, and he soared higher and higher. "Oh, I'm so tired," said Sibley. "I think I'll just close my eyes and take a little nap." As he slept, Sibley dreamed of his happy memories on the 4th floor of the big department store. Oh, how he would miss the boys and girls and the elves and, of course, Santa Claus. All of a sudden, Sibley awoke with a jolt. The monorail had come to a stop. When Sibley looked out the window, he thought he was still dreaming because he saw the reindeer, Santa's workshop, and yes, even Santa Claus himself. "Where am I?" he said. "What happened?" And that's when he heard Santa say, "Hey, Sibley, I thought you would never get here. Welcome to the North Pole." As Sibley looked around, he saw that everything was just as it was on the 4th floor of the department store. There was even a little mouse hole right next to Santa's big chair. Sibley crawled in it to take another nap, but was soon awakened by voices, little voices, this time as boys and girls lined up to tell Santa what was on their list. And then he heard it. He couldn't believe his little ears. The sounds of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer as the boys and girls serenaded Santa with their kazoos. Sibley slowly crept out of the hole and nestled himself beneath Santa's chair. This has been a very special day, he thought. A wonderful day indeed. And as he drifted into a night of dreams, listening to the music, he thought he heard McCurdy's little voice saying, "Merry Christmas to all," in Sibley's magic chord.